when Bon and I became partners in 1966, for expressing our love for each other and affection, we could be jailed for 14 years. Indeed. Now, fortunately, with hard work of the community, our community, we've been able to change those laws. But the No campaign in those days, they were bringing up the same kind of arguments, and very tiresome they are, because they're ill-informed, they're bigoted, lot of hatred, etc., etc. So my message is, make sure you vote, and vote yes. And more importantly, do it if you're not particularly involved yourself. Do it if you have a sister or a brother, an uncle or an aunt, or a neighbor who you know are in a same-sex relationship. Vote for them and help them to bring this about. Thank you.
Earlier this year, Bon passed away, unable to marry the man that he loved for over 50 years. Bon has been an inspiration to individuals within the LGBTQI+ community and to those beyond the community. Yet, Bon has always and will be more than an inspiration to me. He was my grandfather. His being gay didn't change the fact that he was a grandfather to me, and it never will. As a 16-year-old Australian, according to the current Marriage Act, under unusual or exceptional circumstances, as well as with my parents' consent and a court's authorization, I, a 16-year-old boy, can marry. Yet, my grandparents, who have been in an objectively beautiful and loving relationship for 50 years, could not. Our current government would rather let a minor marry before they would even than allow a same-sex marriage to take place. Our current government would let me marry before they would let me vote or even participate in this marriage survey. But if my partner were to be another man, they would regulate me to a second-class citizen status and deny me the possibility. This right is given to minors, yet is kept an impossibility to an entire community of people just because of who they love.
It's not enough for you people here to just put your postal ballot in the mail. You have to make sure that everybody on your phone contact list also votes yes and also puts their ballot in the mail. On the rough count, we need about 5.5 million people to return a yes vote to see this happen. That is a lot of people, but I feel we can do it. Because if you look what we've got on our side, we've got love, we've got hope, we've got yes, they're all good things. What we need to know is that the next little while is going to feel like crap. It feels crap already. I feel crap speaking at the rallies, I feel crap speaking at the organised meetings, I feel crap watching people look sad wherever we are and wherever we're speaking. Because what is happening right now is something that we believe is absolutely fundamental to how we exist as humans, which is that we should all be treated equally, and that we should be able to marry the person we love if we choose to marry, and that our laws should not discriminate on an individual based on who they love or who they choose as their life partner, and that you should not be discriminated against based on your identity. All those values are up for grabs. And there is a small minority of people with very loud budgets and unfortunately quite deep pockets that have no care about love, that have no care about looking out for each other, and that have absolutely no care about the values that we hold dear. And for the next little while, we are all going to have to bear with the fact that they are going to be quite loud. And there is only one way. There is only one way that we can combat that. And that is simply to be louder. That is simply to fly more rainbow flags, to celebrate love, and to yell yes wherever we possibly can. Because unless we do that, unless we fly the rainbow flag, unless we celebrate yes, unless we literally ring every single person in our mobile phone contact sheet when the postal ballot arrives, unless we do that, then we're not true to our commitment to want to see love and equality. Because it's not enough for you people here to just vote yes. It's not enough for you people here to just put your postal ballot in the mail. You have to make sure that everybody on your phone contact list also votes yes and also puts their ballot in the mail. On the rough count, we need about 5.5 million people to return a yes vote to see this happen. That is a lot of people, but I feel we can do it.
Like Jenny, I'd seen some of the really appalling stuff, some of it, on social media, sadly some of it with big budgets behind it going out on our television screens. There's one question we're answering here. Can two people who love each other, who happen to bear the same sex, enter into a contract under federal law to make a commitment to each other that's recognised under federal law, which is called a marriage? That's all. That's it. 2004, couple of hours in the Parliament, we changed it to say no, they couldn't. We should be able to now to change that back to say yes, they can. And like me, you can make a choice not to marry if you want to. But it's your call. It's your choice, because that's what human rights are about. So I just want to say thank you so much to the student populations across our universities and to organisations around marriage equality in our communities. I think we've frightened the hell out of the government with nearly 100,000 new people enrolling. I hope that gives them pause for thought.
So when I first said to myself that I wanted to do this, what was the message that I wanted to show to everyone? What did I want to accomplish? At first, it was just showing support for people, showing that I wanted to vote yes, and to make sure that we as a community at the university, but also in Wollongong, support marriage equality. But then I started to see all of the negative things that the No campaign have been starting to put on TV, starting to put on social media, and that changed the way I feel about this. So firstly, we want to show that message of solidarity, but secondly, and far more importantly, this rally and everything that we do in support of marriage equality is here to show that we support members of the queer community, that we stand behind them, and no matter what they face, we will be with them, and that we are here to support them in all of their issues that the No campaign would like them to face.
I think it's important really to see this perspective that, we have come so far, that we have achieved so much, and that we can achieve even more. I think when, if you imagine someone who, was around in 1917, 100 years ago, if they were to see how far we've come and how far we are going, I think they would be so impressed and shocked and awed about the work that activists and queer communities have been able to achieve, both in the hearts and minds of people, but also legally and politically. I know a lot of people feel drained by the constant effort, particularly at times like this when there's so much negativity, when the No campaign is so loud and has so much funding and is really trying to push this message that we should consider ourselves second-class citizens. But honestly, what I think we should do is just let them come and let them yell and let them prove them wrong, as we always have before. What our votes are going to do when we vote in this, postal survey is really show that there isn't a silent majority of people who actually don't like gay people and don't think they deserve their rights. Actually, in Australia now, we have changed the hearts and minds of a majority of Australians. 4 out of 5 people in Australia do believe that marriage equality should happen. And at the point that these people out there who are campaigning for the no vote think that they're the majority, that think everyone thinks like them, what this survey can do is we can make it work for us. We can show those people that actually they aren't the majority, their views aren't correct, because we are coming at them at rallies like this. We are giving better arguments. We are showing why it is so necessary that we get this change.
That is exactly the kind of fighting spirit that has led to every single victory that we have ever won for LGBTI rights in this country and in the world. And I think that is the fighting spirit that has come to the campaign for marriage equality here in Wollongong, right around Australia and right around the world. Because what happened when the Liberals called this plebiscite is they laid out the battle lines. They laid out who's on their side and who's on our side. And I think it's made very clear to a lot of people that the people who stand for democracy and the people who stand for civil rights and our basic rights in the society are certainly not the people who run it. 20,000 people in Melbourne. There is a rally in Sydney on the 10th of September that I urge everyone here to come along to, so we can force them to say that, you know, actually, I think Sydney can beat that out. I think we can have a much larger rally. I'm going to say that now. Don't prove me wrong, please.
And I wanted to quote from one of my favourite revolutionaries, the African-American revolutionary Angela Davis, who said that if you live in a society that's racist, then it's not enough to simply be non-racist. You need to be anti-racist. And if we live in a society that has legalized homophobia, it's not enough to simply be not homophobic. You need to be anti-homophobic. You need to be anti-transphobic. And so, to all the people who say this might not affect them, you know, this, they don't want to get married to a same-sex partner or whatever. I say that it's not enough to simply be indifferent to this. You need to support the LGBT community. You need to stand in solidarity. You need to get your ballot out. You need to fill the, the yes box, whatever it is, put it in the post box. But you also need to come out to demonstrations like this. You need to come out and rally and show visible support for the LGBT community and stand with us when we're fighting back. And so the next demonstration, I think, is September the 10th in Sydney. And look, you know, let's see if you guys can beat 20,000. We'll see how that pans out. But hopefully you can. But yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, and now I think if people want to get up, we're going to march through the campus so that we can show the rest of this campus just how we feel and show our support for LGBT rights. Thank you very much.
Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. Gay, straight, black or white, marriage is a civil right. How are we gonna get